Lighter by 1 pound, that's not much. But, for Kawasaki's all-new 2016 Ninja ZX-10R, 1 pound has made a significant and very noticeable difference. Because that pound in weight has been lost from the crankshaft, the resulting claimed 20% reduction in inertia has made a dramatic impact on the ZX-10R's feel and handling. Riding the bike around Sepang International Circuit, the effect was useful during side-to-side transitions, and especially noticeable when hard on the brakes. Although the big Ninja doesn't lack in ultimate power, the reduced crankshaft weight, coupled with tough emissions rules, does mean that the low-down power is a little lacking, and I quickly realized I needed first gear for optimum drive out of the slow corners. The ZX-10R is essentially a race bike, and a very, very good one at that. I had not ridden Sepang International Circuit before, a fast track used for F1 and MotoGP. The professionals like it for its high speed, sweeping nature, yet it also has highly technical and somewhat blind sections that need some real finesse. The 2015 FIM World Superbike champion Jonathan Rie was lapping at the same time I was on track, and afterwards I had a chance to chat with him about the machine he'll be campaigning this year. Rie joined the factory squad a little late for major input into the ZX-10R, so even though it is more Tom Sykes' ZX-10R, Rie is very impressed by it. Despite Rie's incredibly dominant world title win last year, his biggest wish in 2015 was for the ability to brake later, and have more stability while doing it. He says the new bike absolutely delivers. Second on Rie's wish list was easier changing of direction. With the 2016 ZX-10R, I found turn-in to be both effortless and instant. Turn 2 at Sepang appears immediately after its predecessor, and taking the optimum line, which admittedly I never got quite right, requires an instant transition for maximum lean angle across the line to the other side. This is further complicated because turn 2 is a dramatic, downhill left-hander that needs complete confidence in the front. This little section was instant affirmation of the new Ninja's ease of handling. I am very impressed by the ZX-10R's quick transitions, and how precisely it goes where I want, as well. The quick turn-in is due to the reduced inertia, though once it has been initiated, the rest of the handling is down to the ZX-10R's all-new chassis. The engine has been raised and moved forward in the frame, and the rider's seat lowered, giving the riding position a little more seated-in feel. A nice side effect of not being quite so perched on top is that the bike feels comfortable, too. The change in center of gravity makes a difference, but Kawasaki also pulled the steering stem back towards the rider by 0.3 inches, thereby putting more weight over the front for maximum rider confidence. Because the ZX-10R is so well balanced, it is a challenge to communicate just how secure the front feels on this machine. Suffice to say, I pushed my personal limits on turn-in, and the bike always responded positively and precisely. The snag with putting so much weight on the front is that the rear can lack traction. To offset that, Kawasaki changed the swing arm pivot point location, and lengthened the swing arm by over a half-inch, resulting in a wheelbase just under a half-inch longer. There is now a more direct line from the steering head to the swing arm and, subsequently, grip from the rear is very good. On television, Sepang's Turn 9 appears to be a nice fast sweeper. In person it is nothing of the sort. The corner is actually a blindish uphill left-hander. Fortunately, the corner entrance is quite wide, so it's faster than it looks and takes some practice to get right. If ever there is a place to test the Kawasaki's rear grip, this is it. Despite my fairly aggressive throttle wrenching, the ZX-10R always came off the corner hard and without tire spin. That was true for most of the day, though I admit that once when coming out of turn 14, the infamous Rossi/Marquez incident corner, the rear stepped out quite dramatically and launched me out of the seat breezeway. To be fair, I was in first gear, hard on the throttle, and I blame myself. Racing enthusiasts will immediately notice the exotic 43mm Showa balance-free front fork (BFF) with its external nitrogen-charged chamber. Of course, the reservoir is more than just looks. By moving the damping functions into the separate chamber, the whole surface of the main piston acts as a pump, making it more efficient and much more responsive. Under hard braking, I was struck by how little dive there was from the front, and how stable the bike felt, especially at the rear. There was no side-to-side hunting at the bars, and zero waggling of the rear tire. The Showa BFF and rear Showa balance-free rear cushion light (BFRC light) shock handled the bumps and vagaries of Sepang well, indeed. The suspension is firm, yet compliant. If I had more time, I would have tried going up 2 clicks of rebound damping at the rear to eliminate a slight settling when hard on the power in turn 3. Still, all in all, I was very impressed with the ZX-10R's exemplary handling. The significant chassis changes and excellent suspension help the Ninja transition quickly, feel superb on the brakes, and achieve great grip at the rear. The ZX-10R comes in the usual Kawasaki green, plus a nice metallic matte carbon gray. Sadly for the US market, it isn't available in the Euro-spec Winter Test Edition that includes a fancy snowflake motif on the front. The reason I mention this is because Kawasaki provided a Winter Test Edition that was fitted with the optional race kit parts and an Akrapovic race muffler, so don't be tempted by the graphics you see in the photos. Kawasaki's race kit includes a replacement ECU and wiring harness, lighter clutch parts, a tracked UUICKSHIFTER that turns the standard one into a blip downshifter, as well, a choice of steering collars to change the steering rake, and a choice of swing arm pivot height adjusters.